There are natural gifts that men have. There are natural gifts that women have. There are things that women are naturally better at that men are not. And there are things that men are naturally better at that women are not. And you need these different strengths put together for us to have a total picture that gives us all the advantages. Whether in the workplace or in the home, the way a woman looks at something is totally different from the way a man looks at an issue. You need your combined effort. You need two hands working together. You need the joint effort of the two vital creations of God coming together as one for us to be able to achieve the results that God expects of us. The next time you look at a woman, look at her with a different perspective. See in her the gift of God. See in her the value that God has placed in her. See in her the potential that exists for her to add value to the society, to add value to you as her husband, to add value to you as her father, to add value to you as her sister, to add value to you as her brother, to add value to you as your mother, to add value to society at large, and to make the world the place that God wants it to be. The woman, whether in the workplace or in the business place or at home, whichever place it is that God has called her to, the key thing is that the environment is created for the woman to fully express herself. And to the woman herself, I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to you. We're accountable to God for who we are. We are accountable to God for the gifts that we have. God will not accept excuses. My husband will not be an excuse for not achieving as a woman because God has given you gifts that He means for you to use. My children will not be an excuse for being a failure in my career. My children will not be an excuse for being a lousy wife. My husband will not be an excuse for being a lousy husband. We're accountable to God. A day is coming. We're going to have to account for all the gifts that have been given to us. Remember that. And don't allow society or the environment to take from you what the Lord has given to you. We have to fight to be who God has made us to be. I'm not talking about women liberation because I'm not in bondage. No, are many women that I know. I'm talking about a woman that is fulfilled and fully accomplished. I'm talking about a woman that is walking according to the word of God. I'm talking about a woman that has full understanding of her role as the Bible defines it. I'm talking about a woman that wants to be all that God has made her to be. It's not about any ideology that someone is proposing or that certain people are proposing. It's about everything that God is saying that the woman should be. And the Bible has too many examples for us to follow. And I trust that to all our mothers, to all our sisters, to all our daughters, and to all my friends, women that we are, let's make God proud that we fulfill His plans for our lives and be everything that He plans. First, I'd actually like to say a big thank you to our many viewers from different parts of the country who take time to send in emails, to send in texts, to encourage us, to thank us for the program and all that. We'd like to say that we can't do it without you because there's no point making the investment of time and resources if nobody is watching. And the only reason we're encouraged to keep doing it is because you take the time to give us feedbacks which help us and assist us to know what direction to go further with the program. We thank you for all of this, and we're grateful to our pastor, Pastor Taiwo Odukoya, who is committed to the Fountain of Life Church, keeping this program on air and making sure that we can affect the marketplace and make a difference in our generation. Today, I decided we should take a few of those emails or some of the questions that have been sent in or comments and discuss them. We can't take everybody's own online on air. I'm sure some of you get direct replies from us, and I hope we've been able to help you in one way or the other. Some of you have come for direct counseling, because when we get your emails, if we think that it's better to have a one-on-one discussion with you, we usually set up an appointment and we get to meet. So keep sending in the emails and keep communicating with us, and we're sure that we will help each other to achieve our goals. I have an email from a gentleman called Prince John Paul Eselibo, and he shared with us about a project that he'd really like to do, which is to set up a plant to process 3,000 to 4,000 BBL per day of Bonny Light crude oil into PMS, diesel, jet fuel, and kerosene. It says that this project will require $8 million. Wow. Is there any way we can help him to get investor and joint ventures for this business? I decided to take this email because I want you to know that some of you might say, wow, what kind of money, what kind of business is that is going to need such large amounts of money? But there are businesses that require about that much. But no matter the size of the project, it's good for you to know that it's not just small businesses that are not able to find financing sometimes. Every kind of project can have financial support challenges. But on the other hand, for a project like this, there are specific institutions that you can approach. First and foremost, with the banking reforms that has just taken place, with banks having a minimum capital base of 25 billion naira, they are better equipped to fund projects with large cash requirement. And so you'll find that in the past, whilst our banks would say they can't take projects like this, it's much easier for you to find financing, even for projects like this in our local banks. So nothing stops you from approaching your bank. If all your paper is together, you have your business plan clearly cut out, and the business is obviously viable, and everything gels, then I'm sure that the banks are definitely looking for areas to put this large amount of money that they are washed with. On the other hand, you could approach specific banks that have been set up for development of the economy. The Bank of Industry is one of such banks. They've been set up specifically with a lot of funding, both international and local, targeted towards developmental projects that will benefit the economy on the long run. And they can handle capacities or figures that are up to about this amount. Still, if you think that you want to look at other options as well, you can approach organizations like IFC, who have international funds available to support development in countries like Nigeria, who will be willing to partner with you to get a project like this off the ground. I must warn you though, nobody that will finance any projects that you have that will not ask you for your own participation in the project. And your participation means it's not just enough to have the idea. You must have some level of financial commitment or financial resource of your own that will represent a certain percentage of that which is required. On the other hand, you could look for joint venture partners, maybe a foreign company that is interested in that area of business, who is also interested in Nigeria, that you can have a joint venture agreement with. And since you already have the idea, if you're able to get the necessary allocation and all of that, they might fund all of the project while you're the local partner with no financial commitment, but with other values added to the project. And based on whatever kind of agreement you're able to put together, you would find that you can still get the project off the ground. You can approach banks like Nexim, and you would find that there are possibilities. No matter how large the project is, there are possibilities available in the world. You just have to do a bit more work to get it off the ground. Okay. I have this email from a lady, Mrs. Ako, and thank you very much for everything you expressed about Pastor Bimbo and how her program over the years encouraged you and helped you to build your marriage. We appreciate your commiserations with us and everything that you have said in your email. Now, back to the issue that you raised. You've said that you've been working in a bank for 14 years and you intend to quit very soon, considering what is going on in the banking industry. Now, coupled with the fact that you have some other personal issues that you're dealing with. But you said you have business ideas, but not much knowledge on what is involved. Take, for instance, I'm into catering, which I do when I'm less busy, and because I work in a bank, it makes it difficult for me to receive jobs and execute to the best of my ability, and to make contacts have not been easy, considering the fact that I'm not a social person, but love cooking and entertaining people with good food. I have my utensils to enable me go into it full time, but with little or no capital to commence. However, I want to go into bakery, making bread and possibly other pastries with my husband. We have a landed property, a car, and some other valuables which we can use to get a loan, but we do not know what to do. We need a bit of training on it and possibly your advice or write-up you can obtain on our behalf from any of these bakeries to enable us commence the plan to be our own entrepreneur. First and foremost, the major challenge is that you're still in employment and you also want to run a business. That I've found from my experience is always very difficult. You can't live in two worlds. Most of the time, people are playing safe. You want to keep your job, so you're sure of salary at the end of the month, but you have high interest in being your own employer and building up a business. You're going to have to make a choice. And like you said in your email, that you're going to resign soon because there are a lot of issues going on in the bank. It's actually better for you to go, make up your mind once you're sure that you have enough interest and passion about the catering business, and people will take you more seriously as well when they know that that is what you're committed to. Nobody is going to come seeking for you as their caterer when they know you as a banker in daytime. They do not believe that you will be able to do it best, while there are other people who are fully committed into catering. Every step we take in life is a risk. Going into business is a risk, but it's a risk you can take if you believe in yourself and if you believe in what you want to do. I will advise that you cannot win on two fronts. As an employee in the bank and as a caterer. One will distract you from the other. So you're going to have to make a choice. If you make that choice, you will give it your all and you will commit your resources, both material and physical, to it, and you're more likely to make a success of it. You say you're not a very sociable person, but you work in an organization. You already know enough people when you look around where you work. If the people that you work with know that you're good at cooking and they know that you're leaving the job to go and start a catering business, you already have a pool of people you can reach out to, people you work with, people that in the course of your work you have to interact with. That's your first constituency. And they can help you. One job, we all build our business network from day to day. When you do one job and you do it well, that job will attract other people to you, and that in turn will lead to more businesses. Don't worry about the larger picture for now. Focus on getting your act together. Like you said in your email, you already have a lot of equipment to set up to make the business work. That's good, because having been in employment, you've had the chance to build the capital that you need to take off. So with that, you can go on. You don't even need capital for the food, because anybody that is going to give you a catering job is going to pay you the money before the day. And that gives you the money to cook the food. You have all the plates and all the utensils, which means you can set up well and make a success of it. Go for it. It's a risk, but there's a high chance that you can make a success of it. You've also been in a structured environment, so you will know about keeping your books and managing your finances in order to make sure that you succeed. For the bakery part of it, I believe first, as a banker now, you can get information from your bank. about how to use your resources that you have, land and all that, to get a loan if you need. But on the other hand, you first want to look at what you have before deciding that you need a loan. And sometimes it's actually better to sell an asset and have the cash to invest in the business than to take a loan and have the additional liability of the interest on the loan. Because if anything happens to a new business and you started the business with debt, you not only owe the money, you not only lose the money that you borrowed from the bank, you still owe the bank and you need to pay. But if it's your money, all that can happen is that if the business fails, you lose that money, but you're owing no one. It's much easier to move forward from there than if you're coming from a position of debt. As per collecting information for bakery, I think you can either check on the internet and get a lot of information about setting up bakeries, what is required, what equipments. You can get a lot of that on the internet. You can also check for companies that sell a lot of bakery equipment, either local or maybe you're going to import it from any other country. And there's a lot of local fabrication of equipment in Nigeria. So investigate, look for someone that is working in a bakery or someone that is in a bakery business and try to get some information. On the other hand, get a consultant who is able to gather information, all this information for you, and that would help you to get started. I really wish you well. And I know that with God on your side and with all the right effort and right application of your resources, you can make a success of the business that you want to get into. And that goes for all those that are in employment as well, who are thinking of going into business, but you're afraid. There really isn't much to be afraid of if you do your homework. Make sure that you get all the information that is necessary for the business area that you want to go into. Use your time of employment to build up some capital towards the business that you want to go into. It's only by gathering information that you even realize what level of capitalization you need. And then you build it up within your resources at work. If they give you upfront for your housing, you would not waste it because you have a project ahead of you. You know, if you have any bonus somewhere, you're not going to use it for something else other than the project that you have. And if you have some assets that are just sitting fallow, you can convert them into cash to achieve your goals. And in some cases, you can partner with someone that's already in the business. You know, there are other ways to go about it. And it's by getting right information and doing your homework that you do not get frustrated when you pull out of a paid employment into business. You're more assured of success when you've done your homework. I have a mail from a gentleman called Tunji. He wants to know if it is possible to sell your idea to any corporate organization in Nigeria. He said, for example, idea that can add value to such organizations or idea that can increase sales efficiency, increase efficiency. And he wants to know if Nigerian companies can really pay for such services if you sell such ideas to them. He works for Success Digest magazine, and he says he's been receiving mails from their readers all across the country, and he's sure that foreign companies do pay handsomely for such services, but he doesn't know if Nigerian companies can pay. If they do, how do you sell, protect, and make money from your idea? I know there's another email where a gentleman was asking me about protecting intellectual property. There are patent laws in Nigeria as well, and you can protect you can protect intellectual properties, but you need a lawyer to do that. The lawyers who specialize in patent laws, excuse me, a bit more than others. And if you find such lawyers, you would find that they can do a lot of groundwork. And on your own as well, sometimes you can actually seek information even before you go to the professional. If you go to the Corporate Affairs Office and you make investigations about what laws are available or what are the procedures for protecting your intellectual property, you will get the guideline for that. And when you are fully understood whether what you have is something that can be protected under the law or not. Then you can seek the services of a lawyer to help you through the process of getting it registered. There are a few technicalities there, but there's nothing that information cannot solve. In terms of if you can sell intellectual property like information that can help a company develop efficiency or develop sales, I believe that there are many training sessions or seminars and all that people run generally that helps in these areas. And the way you can sell such information is through organizing training sessions in those organizations with that information. You can approach maybe their strategy department or their human resource development or their, depending on what kind of information, and the way you package it. Now, about people copying your information, well, you still have to ask the lawyer about how to protect it. And even if people copy your information, they can only use it to a certain extent, because until you actually open up on the total package that you have, they can't have access to it. And there's some other ways that you do that. When you are sending synopsis to companies, you don't release all your information. You just sort of give them an idea of what you're talking about in what you send as a presentation paper. And when you have a training session for them, there are many times that you go to sessions that you're not allowed to take the material away. There's certain levels of material you're not allowed to take away, and there are only some that you're allowed to take away. That way, the core information is protected. And some of these kind of materials you want to sell to the company through a direct presentation and not by submitting the proposal that carries all the information so that somebody else can just copy your information and sell it. Or otherwise, publish it as a book. And once you have published it, it is sort of copyrighted because it's in print. And through the sale of the book, you make remunerations, and that can be a source of making money from it. I think a lot of companies are quite ready to pay for information, even in Nigeria. It depends on how you package the information and what kind of companies that you're approaching. I don't think we can do much more than that today. I'd like to thank you for being a part of the program. Have a nice day.